Killian Maddox dreams of becoming a professional bodybuilder. He suffers from bouts of rage and takes care of his grandfather. For dinner, Killian eats at least a dozen eggs and a hearty portion of meat. His bedroom walls and ceiling are covered with posters of famous bodybuilders. Killian also struggles with migraines and nightmares.
According to this history, it says you suffer from migraines and nightmares.
Recently, he told the nurses that he would crack open their skulls and drink their brains like soup. And he hears voices in his head.
Sometimes you are afraid of your own thoughts.
He injects himself with steroids and spends all his free time at the gym. Killian dreams of meeting bodybuilding star Brad Vanderhorn and constantly writes him letters. Before a competition, Killian throws up from the stress, but he pulls himself together, inspired by his own beaming smile, and steps on stage.
Relax.
He tries harder than anyone else, proudly showing off his impressive muscles. But it seems the judges aren't impressed. They push him off to the side. Killian works and shops at a local supermarket. He likes a cashier named Jessie, but unfortunately, their shifts never line up.
So, how are things?
Killian dreams of seeing his photo on the cover of a magazine one day.
You're funny.
He hesitates for a long time before making a move, and when he finally does, he simply walks out of the store. Then he returns and asks Jessie out, but immediately assumes she has a boyfriend, apologizes, and runs away before she can say a word.
You probably have a boyfriend or something. You have a good day.
Killian decides to make a video about himself to post on YouTube. He talks about who he is and shows off his physique, but at one point, the pain becomes unbearable and he collapses to the floor. He has to start over from scratch. Sadly, online commenters show no mercy. They mock him and wish him dead. In addition to steroids, Killian also uses cocaine to make training more intense. When he believes the house painters didn't do a good enough job, he demands they add another coat. When they refuse, Killian threatens to handle it himself. He immediately jumps in his car and drives over. The store is closed, so Killian smashes through the door and starts destroying everything inside.
This is what happened!
A violent spasm of pain doubles him over. He falls again, injures himself on broken glass, and somehow escapes the scene. But in the end, it all leads to a terrible accident. At the hospital, doctors examine Killian and deliver devastating news. He's been taking far too much medication. His blood pressure is dangerously high, and soon his internal organs will begin to fail. They also discover tumors in his liver that need immediate surgery.
No surgery.
Killian refuses the operation. That evening, Killian ran away from the hospital and kept taking steroids. He had a problem. His legs just wouldn't grow. He consumed 6,000 calories a day, but still wasn't gaining weight. Frustrated, Killian Googled how to make people like him. One of the suggestions was simple: smile. At work, however, the nice guy spit into a customer's pie because he didn't like him. One day, Jessie called Killian herself and said she'd love to go out with him. Killian cleaned up, shaved, dressed nicely, and got ready for the date. When Jessie touched his face, he nearly lost it.
You're making me blush.
You can blush all you want. You have a nice blush.
Killian admitted he only came to the store during her shift just to see her. As it turned out, Jessie liked him too. The conversation started well, until Killian suddenly muttered, "My dad's dead, and my mom's dead too. You look like her. She was murdered. My dad killed her, then shot himself, so they both died." After that, Killian ordered 7 dishes from the menu. Jessie slowly began to realize she may have made a huge mistake going out with this strange guy. Killian started rambling about deltoids and biceps, about reps, training, and muscle growth. Poor Jessie completely lost it when he began describing how he vomits during workouts.
I'm sorry, I have to go to the bathroom.
But instead ran out of the restaurant and told the waitstaff to let Killian know she wouldn't be coming back. Devastated, Killian ordered more fast food and desserts. He kept writing to Vanderhorn, pouring out all the details of his personal life. That day, Killian was preparing for another bodybuilding competition. But before he could get there, a group of guys, whose store he had previously trashed, dragged him out of his car.
Get him up!
Killian fought back, but they beat him with an iron pipe and kicked him repeatedly. Groaning and clutching his broken ribs, the bloodied bodybuilder still managed to crawl back into his car. because nothing was going to stop him from making it to the competition. On the way, he tore off his clothes and started shoving his way through the crowd, demanding they let him pass. Everyone realized it was that lunatic, so no one dared stop him, especially since his name had just been called. The judges and audience gasped at the sight of the beaten contestant. Swollen and covered in blood, Killian began posing. His whole body trembled from the pain. His face was soaked in tears. Eventually, his body gave out and he collapsed on stage. Killian woke up later in a tub filled with ice. A video of his performance had already gone viral. In a rage, he destroyed all the tapes of bodybuilding routines and emptied the contents of his fridge. He tore down every poster from his walls and collapsed in exhaustion on the floor. He lied to his legal consultant, claiming he was dating Jessie and had even been featured on a magazine cover.
She's my girlfriend now.
According to Killian, everything in his life was going great. That night, he brought home a woman, but instead of showing interest in her, he just wanted to show off his body.
I like your big arms.
He began to experience one of the most common side effects of steroid abuse. His equipment was broken. It only pointed straight down, always stuck at 6 o'clock. At work, he became unusually friendly with customers. No one had seen him there for a week and a half. Customers have been complaining about him, and the other employees feel uncomfortable working with him, so the manager has no choice but to fire him. If things were a little different, Killian probably would have split the boss's skull open and slurped up his brains like soup. One day, while having lunch at a cafe, Killian spotted one of the guys who had wronged him. The man was there with his family. Killian walked up to the kids and told them that their dad once had his skull split open with an iron pipe. Then he told the children, "Don't drink, or you'll get fat."
Don't drink this, okay?
Killian went back to his seat and downed a glass of cola in one gulp.
Don't look over here!
Killian completely lost it and started shouting at the customers.
Fat. Bald. Fat. Coward. Ugly.
Then stormed outside and smashed a car window with his head. By then, the police had arrived. Suddenly, Killian felt nauseous. Killian had broken several laws and still owed $1,200 to the owner of the damaged car. He realized he was completely screwed, so he said goodbye to his lawyer and thanked the woman for trying to help.
I want to thank you.
Killian got into his car, fantasizing about how cool it would be to shoot everyone around him. Soon, packages started arriving, each containing different parts. Killian used them to assemble an assault rifle. After that, he added a shotgun, a pistol, and a large supply of ammunition to his growing arsenal. At night, he visited nightclubs to show off the shooting stances he'd been practicing. During the day, he worked on his aim with the rifle. It felt like something terrible was bound to happen. Then, out of nowhere, the phone rang. It was Brad Vanderhorn himself, Killian's idol, calling him. Brad, the legendary champion Killian had written to hundreds of times, told him he'd be in town in a week and suggested they meet up. Killian showed up at Brad's photo shoot and instantly fell back in love with bodybuilding. Even better, Brad began complimenting him left and right. He even let Killian touch his abs.
You're funny. So, you're my #1 fan, huh?
But eventually, Vanderhorn ended up humiliating his biggest fan, and Killian wasn't thrilled about it. While Mr. Olympia was on a call with his wife and kids, Killian quietly snuck out of the trailer. Later, he started calling Brad repeatedly to sort things out.
And I just wanted to be friends. And you did those things.
That evening, Killian broke into a man's house with a shotgun. The man was a judge from a bodybuilding competition, one where Killian's favorite muscle man had competed. Apparently, the judge had criticized the contestants' hamstrings, and for Killian, that was a serious offense. Although the judge said he'd write to the committee to explain, it was already too late. Killian ordered him to strip down to his underwear, turned on some music, and commanded him to pose. Front double biceps, triceps from the side, and don't forget to smile.
Smile! Smile!
Then, Killian forced the judge to kneel in front of him. The man screamed, begging for his life, but Killian didn't kill him. He just walked out. Later, the muscle man, Killian, turned to Google again, searching, "What should I do to be remembered?" Google answered, "Be brave and change history." Those words sparked something in him. Inspired, Killian spray painted on a wall. Killian Maddox was here. He packed up his weapons and made his way to Brad Vanderhorn's live performance. Brad was on stage when Killian pulled a rifle from his bag and started moving toward him. He stared at his idol for a moment, and then opened fire. With each shot, flashes of his life flooded his mind. His parents, his younger self, his grandfather. He remembered standing on stage during his own competition. And then he snapped out of it. Killian hadn't gone too far yet. There was still time. He lowered the gun and ran home. Once there, he broke down in tears and hugged his grandfather tightly. The next morning, Killian disassembled all his weapons and left the bag by the railroad tracks. Back at home, he flushed every last drug down the toilet. Then he took a photo of himself in the garage and hung it up on the wall. Killian believes that soon, very soon, the whole world will know his name. They'll know who he is.
The only thing that matters in a man's life is how he'll be remembered.
That's it for today's recap. If you enjoyed the story, don't forget to like the video and subscribe for more movie recaps coming your way.